The next principle that I want to talk about is called multiple functions for each element. Or you might say multiple uses for every component in your permaculture design. And ideally you'll design your system so you can get maybe 4 functions out of each thing that you have in the system. So for example, one of the better examples of a plant that I know of is this winter onion. It's also called an Egyptian onion, and it's also called a walking onion. And this particular onion, harvest this one here, you can see. The interesting thing about this onion is one of the very first things to grow in the springtime. So if you plant these around your yard and your garden, I have these over here on the south side of this addition here, which is part of our herb garden as well, growing over here, then you'll have spring onions, the green onions in the springtime that you can harvest. And what these onions do, you can see how it's bent over. What they do when they go to seed like this, they fall, and this lands on the ground, and it creates a whole new plant. And then that's why they call it a walking onion, because every year it takes another step, and it keeps spreading around, assuming it can actually grow and doesn't have to compete with too many other plants. So this particular plant is very unusual because it has so many functions. It serves as an early onion, green onion. If you wanted to, you could harvest these. This particular plant, they're not getting very big. I've seen them a lot larger than this. Probably if it was in a better location, it would do better. Anyway, you could actually eat these if you want to. I used to have these all over the yard, and then my guinea fowl decided that they like to eat them, and they almost completely cleaned me out. And so I had to plant them over here in a cage to keep the guineas away, unfortunately. And the reason I say unfortunately is because this is in the allium family, the onion family, which also includes garlic and chives and actually daffodils and a lot of the bulb type flowers. And there's something about I don't know if it's the odor or a chemical that comes off of this particular onions that the peach borer wasp does not like. And so what is another function of this particular onion that works out really well in an orchard system is if you have peaches, you plant these around the base of your peach trees, and that will keep the peach borer away. Now, why does that matter? Well, if you're familiar with raising peaches, you would know that peaches, if you look at a peach tree, they almost always have the sap running out of them. And that's because the tree has been infested by the peach borer, and what the peach borer does is it goes into the bark, it lays its eggs, the larva goes in and eats up the bark, and then the tree tries to protect itself and exudes all that sap. Eventually, the peach borer kills enough of the bark that the whole branch dries. So if you plant this around the base of the tree, the peach borer will still attack your tree, but it'd be much higher up. And the way peach trees typically grow is, okay, if a branch up there dies, then it'll send off shoots down at the base. But if you don't have something like an onion plant, or you treat with chemicals, which I'm not going to do, then you end up getting the peach borer down in the base of the tree, and that can kill the tree. So this particular plant, it can serve as food in the spring. It can serve as insect protectant around your that type of a tree, peaches in particular, but it's also apricots and other trees in that family. So, and also then you could eat this one if you wanted to. So it serves in multiple functions. So it's that's 3 functions, multiple functions in a system.